And so I kept thinking that that I wasn't going to be here. I felt that I was going to be paid back. And so for a long time, it was difficult for me to live, difficult for me to breathe, better yet. Taking a full deep breath, exhaling was a victory because it was very, very, once again, no pun, rare. And so I had to work my way back at one. So the inspiration behind that is obviously that little 3-year-old boy.
Welcome to Rare Humans, a podcast series produced by NWB News Channel. I'm your host, journalist Michael Taylor, broadcasting from our studio located in vibrant San Diego, California. This podcast celebrates extraordinary stories from special humans of all races, backgrounds, and industries who redefine what's possible. Tonight, we're joined by Paul The Ultimate Vaden, the only San Diego native to win a World Boxing Championship, claiming the 1995 IBF light heavyweight title. After a career-altering tragedy in the ring, Paul transformed himself into a motivational speaker and author of the book Answer the Bell, inspiring others to rise above adversity. A dedicated community leader, he serves on a variety of boards. Get ready for a compelling talk with this extraordinary champion and rare human. Please welcome Paul Vaden.
A man told me when I was a child, one night after a boxing practice, he looked at me and he said, if you work hard, and I mean very hard, if you're willing to do what most won't, if you're not out ripping and running the streets, as he used to say, and if you work just as hard to be a great person, some great things are going to happen for you. That man was my late father, Gerald Vaden. My family, we were known as the bus family. We didn't have a car, and that basically got us to most of our destinations. A lot of times doesn't sound too much of a luxury, but for an individual like me who's goal-oriented and big picture-minded, it gave me and enabled me an opportunity to dream. So on those long bus rides, it gave me the opportunity to look out the window a lot. Looking out the window, I was looking at a film. The film was starring me, always. And the film that I was starring in always had me as becoming a world boxing champion. I answer to a different bell now. I fight for possibilities. The victory I see now is overcoming obstacles that we have. As I started to grow, I understood there was a bigger world, a bigger purpose, a bigger responsibility that God has laid out for me in helping to fight. So my tenacity has not wavered as for what I fight. I no longer fight in the ring, but I fight for causes. My fights are now helping people see positive possibilities. There's no such thing as a 10 count. There's no throwing in the towel. There's no cutting off the gloves.
My brother, Paul Vaden, thank you for coming here to the show, Rare Humans, and you're a rare human indeed.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me, Brother Michael.
Yes, sir. And let's start off by you are the inaugural interview of this series. So what better rare human than Paul the Ultimate Vaden?
I like first.
Yes,
very honored.
And let's jump in because we are based here in San Diego, and you are a San Diego native, the very first San Diego native to win a boxing championship. So how did growing up in Southeast San Diego shape your drive to become a world champion?
It's a good question. It shaped me because I saw someone who gave me an outlet, and that was Muhammad Ali at 4 years old while watching TV in Southeast San Diego. And once I saw that, I was all in on wanting to be something, no pun, rare. I wanted to do rare things and achieve rare feats. So that was the beginning, seeing Muhammad Ali.
You basically he kind of represented possibilities, is what I'm hearing.
A lot of positive possibilities, even though it was far out of reach. And I grew up a mama's boy, but there was something that was poetic about what he did, what he said. I'm young, so I was, as I grew as a boxer, as a person, I started to understand that he stood for much more than even in the ring. But he was excellence personified, watching this fluidity, how he moved and how fast he was and how mobile. And so I wanted that.
Mobile and fast for a heavyweight boxer. I mean, yeah, just phenomenal.
Amen.
Okay, and so what was the key lesson, like from your 327-10 amateur boxing record that carried you to the pro ring, brother?
Repetition, appreciation for repetition, discipline, showing up, accountability, adaptation, endurance, where it can take you. Endurance can take you many places. Being coachable, many intangibles and people. By listening and learning, being a sponge, parlayed me into that development into the pro ranks. Now, mind you, got to understand, people, most of the pundits, boxing pundits, didn't see what I saw. They saw other people being what I thought I was going to be. They always said I was too nice. I smiled too much, and in order to be a champion or things like that, you have to be nasty and mean and have this. And so that gave me additional inspiration to want to prove that you can smile, be kind, and be a champion.
That's actually, I like that. That is rare. Yeah. That because there is the whole theater of boxing,
correct,
as well. It's kind of expected.
Really.
Your warriors and killers. And so boxers need to play up to that.
Correct.
So that's refreshing. That's refreshing to hear you say that.
Yeah.
How did you feel when to win the IBF light middleweight title in 1995 as San Diego's own?
Yeah. Once again, against all odds, a lot of hard work, but a lot of support, a lot of naysayers, but once again, a lot of support. But no matter what support, naysayers, I showed up. I always showed up, and meaning that a bad day, you still saw me the next morning getting up at 4 a.m. To run, to believe and believing. A bad day in sparring, you still saw me come to the gym the next day, still believing, still seeing still envisioning me hoisting that belt. So to become the first, and still
the only,
I'm very, very, very proud of it. But once again, it's part of the evolution of who I am, because as I got that close, I understood there was a bigger responsibility by being a world champion. It meant more than just what I was doing in the ring, how I carried myself. And by being a champion, it would give me, it would garner me an opportunity to help others, inspire others, give back to others. My late father always said, you don't forget where you come from. You want to be, I talked about, what I am, but I don't forget what I was.
Right.
And so I try to live that to this day. And so that's but I had to be champion. That's something that had to be. I had to become a professional world boxing champion. Like I said, since 4 years old, that had to happen. Never wavered from that belief.
Wow, that is really quite impressive. So how did the loss of your mentor, Uncle Ron, and his son around the Johnson fight affect your final bout in 2000?
1999. So the year 1999, January 3rd, I remember it all. Like I would lose my cousin to suicide. His father, my uncle, I would lose him 7 months later, August 9th. To suicide. Just couldn't get over the fact of his son,
Wow.
Felt guilt. And then having the boxing match against Mr. Stephon Johnson, which I thought was going to be therapy for me. Boxing has always been a point of therapy for me. You know, my parents divorced when I was 15, and I had boxing to go to. You break up with your girlfriend, I have boxing to go to. You know, things like that. Boxing was always my, you can identify with this, it was my Calgon. It was something for me to go away and get to the place I needed to be. But this time, my Calgon, my therapy let me down. And Mr. Johnson, you know, what happened with him. But it just, it was very difficult because Uncle Ron and Ryan, my cousin, they didn't share an ounce of my DNA, of my blood, but they became strength and family and strong. I mean, you know, that bond. Ryan was back in the dressing room with the rest of the team before, when I was headed out to go to win this world title. Uncle Ron was ringside.
Wow.
So Uncle Ron gave me a chance. Uncle Ron showed me possibilities. And once again, you don't forget where you come from, like I stated. And so it was beautiful for him to be ringside and have Ryan with me. It was very difficult to lose them. And I think about them every day. I mean, every single day, but in the realm of inspiration as well, to continue to make them proud.
Well, I like, how you turn these things into positive. What I really want to talk about now, if it's that Stefan fight, if you're comfortable with that,
Sure.
you can go into it.
Sure.
So after that bout with Stefan Johnson, you know, his tragic death post-fight in 1999, how did you find the strength to move forward from that? And how did it affect you then, and how does it affect you now?
Yeah, it's a good question. I'm keeping it real. It washed me ashore. There was a period in my life, and that was one where I lost myself.
Wow.
I had so much guilt. You read about those things, and it's so rare. You know, people come to you, oh, it happens. That's the word that people say to try to comfort you. They go, oh, it happens. It's a part of the game. And, you know, that's a little, you know, I understand what they're trying to tell me and try to console and you know, comfort me. But when it happens to you, and especially in succession, like I said, January 3rd, August 9th, now you got November 20th, you start to feel the guilt. You also start to feel that there's a sign. You start to then feel that in some shape or form, you're going to be paid back. Maybe this whole thing is my exit is coming. You got to remember, my son had just turned 3 years old, and I'm married. And so I've got a lot of responsibilities, and I want to be here. And so I kept thinking that, that I wasn't going to be here. I felt that I was going to be paid back. And so for a long time, it was difficult for me to live, difficult for me to breathe, better yet. Taking a full deep breath, exhaling, was a victory, because it was very, very, once again, no pun, rare. And so I had to work my way back at one. So the inspiration behind that is obviously that little 3-year-old boy. And, you know, I wanted him to be able, I had an opportunity again to go back to training camp to try to regain my title. I didn't want my son to read or have to bear the fact of people saying, oh, I was ashamed what happened to your father, because I never made it back. I never made it back to being that champion. I've always, you know, like I say, even before I was a champion, I was walking like a champion. I had a swag of a champion. When I became a champion, and as I exited boxing, I still exude all that. It's important. And so for that period, I was not. I wasn't even a contender. And like I said, I was washed ashore. So I had to make sure that my son kept reading about me, having the opportunity. So I had to work my way back at one, and I had to fight to get back. And I had started to land some punches again in life. I started to win some rounds, score some points, and started to win some fights, and became bigger. And now, as you know, today, what do you do with the gift? Once again, you share, you help.
Right. I understand that the Stefan didn't die like right away. I mean, it was like 10 days.
15 days.
15 days later.
Yeah, December 5th.
But apparently he sustained some injuries prior to your fight.
Yeah.
But you weren't aware of that, I mean, in the moment.
Yeah, but That's what, they say that there was a fight. That was a year before.
Right.
So he won 4 straight fights after that. And, that's, I hate to say it like this, and God forbid, that's just like if I'm driving in a parking lot and a parent's not watching their child, and God forbid, once again, you hit that child, I'm not going to, it's not going to be, well, his parents weren't watching.
Right.
It's going to be on my watch, and I'm going to have to live with that torture. And so when that happened, it was on my watch.
Mm-hmm.
I came back to the ring, and truthfully, I shouldn't even come back to the ring. The only thing that made me come back to boxing, I had been away for 18 months. I had started like a new career, was the fact that I was still young and I was still good. I took time off because I wanted to spend time with my son because he was little and I wanted to be there. So I came back because I could still do this, but I shouldn't have came back. But if I had not come back, I wouldn't have Answer the Bell, and I wouldn't have this script that I live, that I can help others and inspire and help them get to the other side.
Speaking of Answer the Bell, this is your book, Answer the Bell, Inventing Your Life as a Champion,
sir.
Which is incredible book, and I definitely would encourage folks to pick this book up and really read through it. And there's so many ways. Just myself going through it, I could see how I can apply a lot of what your journey was like to my own life, to keep moving forward. Is there a particular part of the book that kind of moves you or touch you, more than others?
Yeah, no doubt. That's easy. August 18th, 1995. I had just won the title on August 12th, 1995, the world title, and my brand new IBF world title belt just arrived via Federal Express.
Okay, that's what's up.
And I was headed to Palm Springs, like I was leaving, ready to leave, and then I wasn't expecting the belt to arrive then, and it did. So it was official now. I'm seeing it, because in the ring you get the belt, but it's the other person's belt. Oh. So now I have this is my belt to do my inscriptions. So I had to hold off on, I was going to Palm Springs, but before I went to Palm Springs, I had to take this belt to my father's gravesite. And get the opportunity to hoist that belt over his gravesite and let him know that this had been done, that everything that he had put in and support and love and the belief and giving me those 2-week trials at 8 years old when I started boxing, it had been fulfilled. It had been done. And that was very emotional, but it had been done. So that was easily the best part of the book as far as me, to be able to give that thanks back to my father.
Wow, that's profound. That's incredible. And so, speaking of this book, so you also do you're motivational speaker with corporations.
Mm-hmm.
What I'm wondering is, how do you adapt your Answer the Bell philosophy for kids versus corporate leaders? Because you also do kind of leadership and motivation for kids as well. How is the approach different, or is it maybe it's not different?
I'm by the moment with everything I do. So it's kind of like customized on what I do as far as people. I don't say, okay, this individual that. So obviously with kids, I don't want to call it basic fundamentals, but it's about being generally nice and versus, when you're in the corporate world and there's strategies and there's other things, but there are certain elements that with children, kids, youth, that I had to overcome, that I had to endure, and about being your own self, using your own mind, being your own leader, being kind, letting them know that I was never about bullying, that I was never about, I've never smoked, I've never drank, I've never, that it's okay to be that one. You don't have to, what everyone else is doing, that's one of the worst excuses that, everyone else is doing it,
Right.
Be your own, and so using those engines and let that parlay into what you're designed to be. And so then as you grow, you pretty much are not going to be able to just falter just because everyone else is doing. Become those are the elements of becoming a leader, is when you make those decisions where you don't have to look back and say, you know, I wish I woulda, coulda, shoulda. I would have been this. I'm at the barbershop every week, and I always hear woulda, coulda, shoulda. I always meet woulda, coulda, shoulda.
Wow, that's brutal.
And it's a brutal way to live. Woulda, coulda, shoulda. And hear someone else author your story, narrate your story in the woulda, coulda, shoulda a mindset. And so it's a lot of decisions are made right there in that moment. That left turn that you don't make are sometimes the ones that are allow you to go to another floor, or go to another, avenue, go to another promotion, go to, another interview, internship, everything. You're always being interviewed, is what I tell the youth. You're never away from, just because you're out of the way of your guardian, your folks or whatever, you're always being interviewed.
Wow, that's pretty cool. And so you are hired to speak to corporations and executives. So what does that? Give me an idea of what that looks like. You're taking your journey as a boxer and training as a boxer. How do you bring that into a discussion or talk to corporate leaders and corporate employees?
Yeah, we're all in a fight in some shape or form. We're all in a fight against ourselves, sometimes fight against competition. Sometimes we're in the way of our own creation. Sometimes we're in delegation, delegating things to people.
Right.
How are we able to change up the styles at times, and when are we going to keep getting hit with the right hand, walking into the straight right hands of life, not boxing, life. And a lot of times, most times we do. And sometimes we're not willing to stop, take a deep breath and listen and learn new tactics in order to win. My avenue is my avenues, and where I live well, is, like I said, in adaptation and endurance, and obviously to be overwhelming. It's important that after a while you understand what I'm bringing is significant, but also that it's extremely authentic and genuine. I'm speaking from a place that I'm on the front line with you. You know that I want you to win. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. And I'm on the front line with you. I show up to your fight before you get there. So what I bring to them is, you see a bona fide fighter, but a bona fide champion. If you see someone that has 12-round execution and it is about winning, that record that you talked about, those numbers, the one thing that it tells you, if anything, is that I have a passion and a blueprint,
right,
for winning and getting it done. It may not be the way you like it to be done, the way you should, but that's what it's about. And it's about execution. That's through hard work. I'm willing to show up and do the work. And I expect the same for you, and I expect you to be the example for other people. And I want it to become a positive pulse.
So, growing up in Southeast San Diego, and for those that aren't familiar with San Diego, I mean, it's sort of the area, sort of more impoverished, kind of. It was traditionally the black part of San Diego,
right?
But it's got so many challenges built into it, living in that area,
right?
But you were there when there was Huffman's and
look at you.
Huffman's. What was the
Huffman's barbecue, Tortilla Taco Shop, Green Cat Liquor Store, Shell gas station. I mean, there's Gentry's. There's Gentry's still over there.
Yeah,
C.W. Dean's Record City. So it's then you go down there. You got Logan. I mean, there's a plethora of places that. Yeah.
And so growing up there,
I got chills when you just said front.
But growing up there, you had, a different set of challenges for a young black man coming up. So looking back at it, does it kind of leave you, in awe, thinking how you went from that to winning a championship in Las Vegas in a boxing match.
Right. It goes back to what I said. I had people, though, I had people like Robert Coombs at 8 years old, who was this man with an afro, huge afro, who was a program director at the Jackie Robinson YMCA. And he shows me avenues, and he always showed me possibilities, and he always wanted me to be more than an athlete. He was always preaching that. I mean, it was like, okay. And I had other people in my life. There was always someone that was taking my wings and allowing it to fly in another direction of ascension, wanting me. And through the naysayers, there's always someone blocking for me to get to a path that I needed to go. There's always been someone, and there continues to be, but there was always someone. So that's why I always hate the story when I hear someone say, oh, I didn't have, they try to minimize the people. There's, in a lot of cases, there's someone who believed in you and kind of let you, block for you because they saw positive possibilities within yourself. And so they wanted you to soar. They wanted you to dream. They wanted you to realize those dreams. And nothing's above me. I've always learned nothing, but also there's nothing beneath me. And so whomever I see and wherever you do, I mean, it's respect. One thing that I have, and people know this, is my memory. My memory is insanely good. And I don't forget. So if someone says, hey, thank you for this, and I go, hey, do you realize what you did for me when I was this, and that? And I go, like you talked about, Gentry's and all these other people. They were the same people who would buy tickets and sponsor, raffle tickets and things for our boxing tournaments at the YM. They were the people who, as far as the boxing supporters. So part of being a champion, once again, is not forgetting where you came from, and make sure that you continue to, that you're the go-to person, that you're there, that you don't become removed from what you were, once again.
And so, in terms of giving back, you do all of the motivational stuff with kids and corporations, but you go even a further step, and you sit on a variety of boards here in San Diego County. Could you talk about why is that important to you to give even more back to the community in that form of sitting on boards?
Yeah, I think that. The word champion is immense. I think it's eye-opening, and it says something. You have to look at it, no matter whether. But what do you do with it? That it's like when a person has something and everyone talks about them, and always when you introduce someone, and they go, "Oh, that person has this and they have that and they have," and I go, "Tell me more." Tell me more. And what I want to know is, what are you doing with it?
That's good.
So what are you doing with that? And for me, is how are you helping someone else with it? How are you extending? How are you sharing? And with that, as far as organizations that I've been involved with, I have no direct, in most cases, no direct connection to it, other than the fact that I'm in the fight. I have people who are close to me. And if you've got a problem, or if you've got a situation, or if you've got a challenge, or you've got a struggle, then we've got to struggle. We've got a challenge. We've got to fight. And so I think that's how things have happened. And then once I'm in the fight, then I'm in it. I'm a part of it, meaning that I'm going to be, like I said, on the front line. I don't know any other way. And because I went to the University of Muhammad Ali, as I said before, that he showed me more outside of the ring than he did inside the ring, which I didn't think was possible.
Right.
And so, and he was always there for people. That's his whole thing. He wanted to win championships. When he talked about it, it was always about, I'm going to do it. And then he said, and then he goes, I'm going to go to this place right here. And it was always about sharing it with the people and giving to the people. So as a champion, for me, it's about taking it and doing something for the people. And that's what it's about as far as me helping.
Yeah.
It's an honor and a privilege to be able to do it. And so it's what I'm supposed to do. It's what I'm supposed to do.
That's what's up. Did you ever happen to have like a Muhammad Ali moment in terms of, he came back from the Olympics and was still treated, a certain way as a black person and threw his medal into the river. Do you have anything similar to that where you're a champion and you're doing these great things, but you have to come back to Southeast, and did you have any moments like that or not?
Just not like that. Nothing like that. I mean, nothing like that. Where after following or whatever, where you're kind of put in your place or whatever. But not to my face at least. But no, not like that. It's nothing like that I can recall.
It was good that you did.
Yeah.
And so you are the San Diego chapter president of JDRF. What could you describe kind of your involvement with that organization that you lead, in a sense?
So, and I need to be fair. So they've changed the name. I've been told you it's now Breakthrough. It's Breakthrough T1D.
Okay.
Breakthrough Taiwan. It just changed like a couple years ago, and I'm now. I had to. What do you call it? You term off. So I had to term off as president. But I've been involved with JDRF for over 21 years now.
Wow.
21 years. And so it's been one of my most passionate fights. I've got very close people who, beautiful people who like family to me. Like I said, when they came to me, I didn't even know what type 1 diabetes was. I didn't even know at the time then JDRF. I didn't know what it was. But once I, became a part of it, then I was, and I don't profess to know about anything as far as like a lot of things that I'm involved with, other than the fact that you need help.
Right.
It's like, once again, I show up to your fight before you show up. I don't know who you're fighting, but I'll find that out as I'm there before you show up, and that's kind of, and I do have a name. I do have a entree list of people who can be of help and want to help in things that I'm involved with. So one thing leads to another, and I get to use my niche. My gift, not my gift. My talent was athletics. My gift is people. It's that simple. So I'm able to get you to fight in elements that you didn't know you were capable of. But I also am able to get you to say, hey, I want to be a part of this because you're a part of it as well. And I know what it's about because, once again, I've been interviewed over and over and over, and I've been consistent. I've tried to be consistent with, not being caught. I'm not perfect. No one's perfect.
Right.
But, my aim is always to help and also to be of love.
Tell me about, if someone goes to the ballpark here in San Diego, Petco Park, and they go through that one corridor, they'll see your plaque.
Yeah, that's dope.
And so tell me about this this wall of fame, essentially.
Yeah.
And what was that like to be inducted? In your hometown, it'd be different, if it's somewhere else in the country, but this is right here in San Diego, that San Diegans can go and see this plaque that it's dedicated to your work, your history as part of the city.
Yeah, and I must add, the Breitbart Hall of Fame is huge. It's a big deal because it's people who not necessarily have to be natives, but most people are not natives here, have played at other areas of different sports and whatever. And it's just when I finally got the call and then the whole process, it's just a beautiful thing. And I have to add, originally it used to be in the museum at Balboa Park, which I actually love because Balboa Park, when I was a child, I loved it. I loved Balboa Park, and then it would be there. And so when I found out that it was leaving because of Comic-Con and it was leaving the big building, I was actually upset. And my friend, Dan Shea, formerly used to own all the Donovan Steakhouse, he said, you're going to actually like this. You're going to like where we're moving it to. And I was like, and he said Petco Park. And I was like, you've got to be kidding me. I'm like, Petco Park. And I got to tell you, Michael, I tell him all the time, you were right. So many people go by there now. You walk by, I can't tell you how many people go take pictures in front of the plaque and it will post it or send it to me.
Nice.
And so whether you're at a concert or whether you're at a Padres game or you're at a monster, whatever that monster truck type thing, those things, they're walking by it. And so it gets way more viewership and from me and amongst a lot of great athletes there. So it's a really cool thing. So I'm even more honored, and I'm just glad to be a part of something. Got to remember, this all was a dream as a little boy. I always wanted to do rare things, and so still to this day. And so it just tells you that the validation of the hard work, the belief, the commitment, and the willingness to be.
And so on the ceremony, I mean, you had family there.
Yeah.
I mean, what did it mean to you? I mean, you're doing this in front. Your son was there. What was that like? Because that's your legacy.
Yeah, that to have my son there. You got to remember something. Not to get too deep, but I can't be more truthful. There was a part of my time that I didn't feel that I had permission to live. That I never suicidal or nothing like that, but I just felt that I was next as far as I was seeing these people close to me, exit this earth. And so I thought this must have been the sign. And so when you prepare and you think each day that this could be your last day, which truthfully it is, it always is that way. But when you actually believe that more than likely it won't be, and you live that way, when you're sitting there, years later and get through to that other side, and you're able to give a message and a dedication to your son, who actually brought you back to life, injected that hope, who made you want to be, and now this happens. So it was pretty powerful, and be able to thank my father, who was no longer, but to give thanks to him and my mother. It was pretty powerful. It's a beautiful night.
Wow, that is something. So, brother, it's so fantastic to have you here, and thank you so much for kicking off this series, Rare Humans, and I want to make sure people see this again. This is Answer the Bell, Inventing Your Life as a Champion by Paul Vaden. Paul The Ultimate Vaden, and just kind of quickly give us an idea of where they can purchase this book.
Yeah, Amazon.com. Yeah, it's pretty much, and you can go Barnes and Noble, as well. Yeah.
And that's I'm impressed because you're way ahead of me. I'm trying to finish your book, but you got this done. What is it like to be like a published author? I mean, that's not like a simple thing. And I'm trying to write a book, and I know for certain, it takes a bit of discipline and stick-to-itness to get one of these things done. What was that process like?
Part of the evolution. Once again, I set out to be a world boxing champion, and that would happen. And I didn't know that my script would have me being. I never set out to be a motivational speaker. I never set out to be a consultant. I never set out to be an author. I never set out, but God it just proves that He's not through with me, and He keeps giving me new responsibilities, but He still keeps me purposeful, still keeps me grounded, and still keeps me a champion.
Fantastic. And that's why you're a motivator, brother. I really appreciate you, and we are going to close this out. And thank you so much for taking out time to come here to visit us on the show. And
thank you more. I really appreciate it.
All right. And thank you, viewers, for tuning in to our inaugural episode of Rare Humans. And we'll see you on the next round. Pun intended. There we go. Bam.